It's Paul Marsh here on Express, and I'm delighted to say that I'm joined by comedian Phil Wang, who is playing at the Portsmouth Guildhall tomorrow. Phil, thank you so much for joining me.
Hi, Paul. Thanks for having me. Yes. Hello, Portsmouth. Hello, good people of Portsmouth. How's it going?
We are having a great time. We are very much looking forward to you coming into town. So I suppose the first question is really, how's the tour been going so far?
Oh, it's been really fun. I did the spring leg of this tour early in the year, springtime you'll find actually, and it was well enough that we extended the tour, coming to more towns, seeing more people, hitting places that I didn't go last time, and Portsmouth is one of them. I don't think I've never done a tour show in Portsmouth, so I'm looking forward to it.
Well, so your tour is called Wang On In There Baby. Now,
Oh,
is that
Wang in there, baby.
Wang In There Baby?
But Wang on in there, baby, has the same meaning. I think that you got the spirit of it.
Well, I was going to say, is that
That's
because you have a love of 70s soul music, or is it just because it sounds funny?
I think it sounds funny. What I was thinking of was the poster of the cat, hanging.
Yeah, right. Okay.
That's what I was thinking about because we're going through tough times. We've been going through tough times for what feels like 200 years at this
I was just about
point.
to say eternity.
And I just wanted people to hang in there, baby, but also remind them that it's me. So wang in there, baby. There's far less thought goes into these titles than you'd think, Paul.
No, I know exactly how much thought goes into these titles. That work? Yeah, that work. That'll do. That'll do.
Yeah, that'll do.
I think Brian Butterfield recently came down a couple of weeks
Oh,
ago,
great.
and his tour was called Place Name Holder Tour.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very much that's very much the culture in comedy right now. It's who cares? Who cares what it's called?
Yeah, I mean, with the greatest of respect, obviously with bands, you remember the names of albums. With comedians, do you remember the name of the tour?
I don't think you do. I don't think you do. I think you remember maybe routines, you remember bits, but all the greatest stand-up comedians, their shows don't have good titles. I don't know if you think about like your favorite like legendary comics, you go back and watch the specials.
But so the only ones
They
that
call things like funny guy. They're never good. They're never good.
So the only one that I can really think of that comes to mind for me is Eddie Murphy with Raw and things like that.
Raw, right? Yeah, but
Because
yeah,
that was
maybe
like a big rock star thing. Eddie Izzard, Dressed to Kill,
Dress to Kill's a good one.
but you're talking about big, huge event live things rather than like a normal tour.
Yes, exactly. Those are sort of huge stadium kind of things, But Raw, I feel like Raw as a name now, it's kind of like podcasty. It's kind of the
Yeah.
title would go with a picture of a guy with sellotape over his mouth. Like this guy. This is him uncensored. This is Wang uncut. Oh, that's a terrible. That's a terrible.
Yeah, Wang Uncut is something for another day.
That's a great title. How did we just come up with my best show title ever?
You know, I'm going to let you have that one for free. You don't have to pay me any royalties whatsoever.
Well, I've made my money with this interview already.
At least I've made myself useful today. Now you talk about obviously when you remember a comedian's routine or a specific skit that they have. I remember Billy Connolly talking about when you used to go and see a comedian and you'd sit and laugh for 2 hours and then you'd leave the arena and not remember a single thing that they said. That's changed massively because of social media, of course. So comedy has had a massive boost in the last few years thanks to TikTok and Instagram. You've got around about 300,000 followers on the different socials. That's a lot of eyeballs.
Well, I guess it is. But the benefits of social media are sort of double-edged, right? You have this reach, but you're also in competition with so many more other people than you used to be. The market's so much wider now, but that means that it takes so much more work to get people's attention over everyone else. There's just so much out there, which is great because you get so much variety, but also it just makes it harder to stand out. So huge names, are now like putting reels up on Instagram to get attention. When back in the day, if you sort of made all those achievements, the sort of if you follow the established route, you're right. Now you have to be promoting yourself all the time.
It's funny,
Which
isn't it, when you think
which I'm not
about it,
very good
because the whole point of going to a comedy show, again, I'm going back maybe 10 or so years, when you go to a comedy show, the whole point was when you walked in there, you didn't want to know anything about it whatsoever. The whole thing was supposed to be a surprise. Whereas, like you say, with the amount of reels and TikTok videos and everything else going around, it's almost like the trailer to the comedy show, isn't it? Like a trailer to a movie. It's like the sneak peek. Sneak peek. This is what you're going to get.
I guess you get that with trailers to specials, but I think with reels and stuff, comedians are usually showing their old stuff to entice people to come watch their new stuff. Because I think that's still the case that when people go to a comedy show, they're expecting to see something new. I always get very jealous of musicians, because when you go to a music gig, people want all the old stuff. When you go to a comedy gig, people get annoyed if they've heard it before,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Oh, I've heard this joke before. Well, you wouldn't say that if the Rolling Stones play Satisfaction. Well, I've heard this. I heard this in 1972.
If you went to see the Rolling Stones and they went, here's a new song, everyone would boo. You know?
Very much so, very much so. Now, speaking of that type of thing, you are kind of relatively young for a comic still. Do the older comedians tell you stories about the good old days?
Yeah, sometimes, although they're mostly not suitable for broadcast. That's what the 90s were, it sounds like. I mean, they used to. Everyone, I think everyone sort of lionizes the age that they came up in, right? Everyone sort of talks about the time that they were young and excited as if it was the best time, but none of them were the best time. They're just all different. But yeah, when I first started, people would talk about, how much the clubs used to pay and how many gigs you could get, and this big chain of comedy clubs that would keep you employed for all the year round. And then that changed with social media and streaming and everything. And now people talk about the golden age of TV comedy, when you get on Live at the Apollo and you have one big set at Live at the Apollo, and that was you made. And now that's not the case anymore. So things kind of just keep changing. And in 10 years, we'll be talking about the golden age of Instagram reels and how that was so much better than the alien ants that have come over to take over, and now we have to do ant comedy. So I think it's just an endless cycle, right?
Something to look forward to, that is, I suppose.
Yeah, the alien ants.
I've read that away from stage, you're quite quiet, and I kind of think of myself as the same way. When my wife takes me to a party with loads of people that I don't know, and I think because what I do, people kind of expect you almost to perform, and oh, how are you and what have you been up to and blah blah blah, whereas I just kind of quite happily sit in the corner with a drink. Why do you think that people like ourselves change when you put a microphone in front of them?
I think you and I are probably like cheaters, right? We can go for these intense short bursts, and then we're exhausted, and we have to sort of re-energize, recharge for the next time. And it's funny, a lot of people who are very gregarious in person and can be the center of attention in like a pub or something, they get on stage and they crumble. But I'm sort of the other way around. I'm a lot more comfortable on stage where there's a set arrangement and there are rules, and I know I'm only meant to be there for however many minutes, and everyone has to listen, and then we all go home. I like that set of rules. When I'm in a group of people and everyone's just taking turns chatting, I don't know what the rules are. I don't know if it's my turn to talk. And so I find that a lot more confusing. I don't know if you find similar.
I do. Yeah. I'm funny. When I'm out with a group of people, I'm more than happy to sit and listen and
me too.
Interject if I feel that I have something to say.
I get that when I'm on a panel show on TV, which is not good. I'll be
probably not the best. Show. No.
And
like, Phil, we want you to come on. You're going to sell yourself, and you just sit there and listen and go, "That was all really good points. Well done."
Yeah. Wow, really funny, guys. I'm really enjoying watching the show. Oh no, I'm also on it. That happens all the time.
Now, finally, I should warn you, Portsmouth is well known for having a few hecklers. Is that something?
It?
Yeah, it is. I saw Simon Brodkin down here very recently, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Half of the show was built on audience interaction with the hecklers and everything else like that.
Sure.
Is that something that you can prepare for?
No, I'm not really an audience interaction kind of guy, and I think the people who come to me aren't really expecting that sort of thing anyway. If you have to deal with something in the crowd, then you deal with it. But for the most part, people are pretty polite, I find. I think it depends on the show, you know. I think if the show's billed as being a bit more raucous and a bit more interactive, then that'll happen. But mine are not.
Phil, it's been so great to talk to you. Thank you very much. I really
Thanks,
do
Paul.
appreciate it. I hope that you enjoy your time in Portsmouth, however short or long your stay is here. And I know there are literally just a handful of tickets left, aren't there?
There's some tickets left, yeah. But come one, come all.
Exactly. So
Come Portsmouth.
if you've enjoyed this interview, as I'm sure you have done, then go and grab yourself. There are literally just a handful of tickets left. So go and grab yourself a ticket to the Portsmouth Guildhall tomorrow to go and see Mr. Phil Wang. Thank you very much, sir.
Real. Thanks, Paul. See you soon.